Today we're gonna go over my favorite deal, how I bought my first self-storage facility in Sebring, Florida with none of my own money and 82% seller financing. Bang. Some of you might be thinking, how do I buy my first self-storage facility? First, I got educated and then I took massive action. Simply, a lot of you guys might be wholesaling or doing other types of real estate. So it's literally just input whatever asset class you want to go to. So whether it's self-storage or mobile home parks or multifamily, you literally just buy the list, start marketing, know and have the belief that I'm gonna get some deals because we literally willed this deal into existence. With our first mail campaign, we were able to get this seller, get him at the right time when he's ready to sell and retire, and we got a killer deal with 82% seller financing. So this was our first direct mail campaign. This seller told us that he never checks the mail. He's like, this is the first day I ever checked the mail. My wife always checks it. He got the mail. He told his wife the night before that we should sell our self-storage facility. He got our mail piece. He called us and we were able to meet him and negotiate an amazing deal. And right now we're gonna go over those numbers. I didn't have a lot of capital myself to get this deal, and I knew the seller was motivated and he wanted a price that was a little bit higher than what we would typically pay. So for me in that situation, I always lean to creative financing. That's how I built majority of my portfolio is through creative financing, and it works with commercial too. So after some back and forth and presenting multiple offers to the seller, we negotiated a purchase price of $850K. So for the seller, his gross income that he was producing was $81,500. So the expenses from the seller that he gave us was $36,000, which gives us $45,500 as his NOI, his net operating income. So this is the numbers that he provided to us. So at this purchase price that he wanted, it was a 5.3 cap. But for us, we went through the P&L, the profit and loss statement, and saw that he was expensing some things that wouldn't be essentially on our P&L, which is his mortgage interest. He had a small mortgage on it. It was an extra 10K. So that 10K difference for us made it only 26K in expenses and the NOI 55,000. So for us, we already had value right there. That $10,000 at a 5 cap that we were buying at is a big difference. That market probably was trading at a 7 to a 6.5 cap. So the best part about buying some of these deals from mom and pops is knowing that their P&Ls aren't always accurate. They might put in things there that would be like their vehicles or their personal insurance that they pay for their own healthcare. And so those kind of things you can take out of the P&L, which makes the bottom line for you better, but when they present it to you, it increases their expenses. So we actually have a video right here that you should check out because we walk you through a P&L and show you what to look for and identify for add value opportunity in a self-storage deal. So back to the good stuff. So this made our NOI go from a 5.3 to a 6.5 cap based on the $850 purchase price. How you get that cap rate is $55,500 to buy by $850. That's your cap rate. So that's what we're buying at. Now we're buying more at market just because their error in the NOI. So for us on this deal, we were able to negotiate seller financing of $700,000, seller finance at 3% interest only for 5 years. That's amazing. So for us, we only had to come up with $150K down payment, but we raised 300 grand because we have closing costs, repairs, add value opportunity we wanted to do at this property. So we actually raised 300,000, and that was with seller finance at 9% interest only, 5 years. So this payment comes out to be $17,500 a month, and this payment comes out to be $22,500 a month. So our total debt service is $4K a month. Right off the bat, which makes a good deal for us, is if we do nothing to this property and we just kept it and ran it the same, we would make $55,000 a year. Our debt service for our capital stack is $4,000 a month. So that's $48,000 minus the 55, and we're making $7,500 a month with none of our own money. But that's if we do nothing to the property, we just let it run the same how they were running it, which was not correct. They were actually own a tree company that was using a large commercial building, and the self-storage business was just like extra money, they got to pay their bills with, but they weren't really running it as a self-storage facility. The property was like 90% occupied, but the rents were about 50% of what the market was. So we saw that value. We collected all the financials from the seller. We were able to underwrite the deal and see that the market in the area, the rents were much higher. So what we did was we did a pro forma saying, hey, if all these rents got up to market and we should stabilize the facility and stayed at the 85 to 90% occupancy, what the numbers would look like. And we did this over time. So we actually projected each year raising it slowly and then getting to a final pro forma number by around year 4, year 5. So with our pro forma, we had the gross income being able to get up to $150,000. $50,000. And for us, we had roughly our expenses gonna be $50,000. Our new NOI would be $100K. And if we did it at, conservatively looking at the numbers at a 7 cap, the value on a 7 cap would be $1,425,000. And along the way, we would obviously cash flow, we would get depreciation. We wouldn't get any principal pay down, which is the only downfall, but the cash flow would be greater. And we don't get any principal pay down because both of the loans are interest only. But we had this value of $425,000 that we saw as future potential that when we sell, we could make a few hundred grand on this property. The best part about this deal is this add value was immediate. We were immediately able to add so much value to this property. So out of this 300K, 10K was closing costs, 125K was repairs, CapEx, and then we had like 15K in reserves. So the 125K in rehab, we painted all the doors, all the garage doors. This property was on a major highway, but all the doors were white and the buildings were white. So like you didn't really even know what it was. It just looked like buildings. But for us, we painted the doors red. Now you know it's a self-storage facility. We did new signage, we repaved the drive aisles, and then really add value for us is we added portables. So we added from Boxwell, we added 12 portables, 10 by 20s, and that significantly increased the income. And so right after we bought the property, we ordered those portables and they came in about 6 months later. And then the tremendous add value immediately was, like I said prior, the company that sold it to us was a tree company. So they vacated this commercial space and we were able to rent that space out to an AC company, and that produced immediate income. I believe it was $1,500 a month that they rented out for on a 3-year lease. So immediately we were able to get that place rented. We did a bunch of work to the property. This is right during COVID. So for us, we didn't want to immediately raise rents even though we could. We did all our add value. We painted it. We made it look nicer. We added new gate software so people can get in and out easier through their phone, through the keypads. And now the property was more automated. And so after we did all that, we raised all the rents up. And when we raised the rents up, I think we had a couple complainers, but really only I think 2 people moved out, and that was it. People stayed because they realized even if they went somewhere else, we were still the cheapest in town, and we rose their rents pretty significantly. We thought it would take us 4 or 5 years to get to this number. Just in 6 months, we bought this in June of 2020. By December 2020, our rents now gross were 10K a month. So we were already at 120K projected for the year 6 months into the deal. We were way ahead of schedule. This is the one thing I really love about self-storage is that you can add immediate value and it doesn't take that long. In 6 months, we were able to bring the income from $81,000 to $120,000. That 40K difference at a 6.5 cap is like 600K in value. So we thought we were gonna add 600K in value over many years. We did that in 6 months. It's amazing. So now even the best part is that was December 2020. Now we're in the summer of 2022. The gross income each month for this property is 18 to 19K a month. 18, 19K a month. That's killer. So we almost doubled the gross income in a couple years. The reason we were able to do that is because month-to-month leases. Self-storage is on month-to-month leases. So as interest rates rise, inflation rises, you know, on a house or a commercial building, typical commercial building, you're locked in for a lease for many years. For us, we're able to consistently raise the rents and keep up with market. So that's the power of self-storage and why it's a better hedge against inflation, because you can adjust your rates monthly if you need to, but we do it every kind of like 6 months. So right now at 18 to 19K a month in gross income and about 35% in expenses, we have a valuation of $3 million on this property with interested buyers at hand. So this deal that we thought we were only gonna make a couple hundred grand is now gonna pull us millions of dollars after a sale. It's exciting. You can do this too. The best part is there's tons of mom and pop still owners out there, and they're just not running the business as a business. Sometimes they built it themselves and they don't, use the automations. They're not using websites. So it's quick and easy to get some of these deals under contract, do some add value, and make tremendous profits from it. This is simple add value. Like, this is very actionable. It just takes work. It's simple, but you gotta work. You gotta find the deals. You gotta put the effort into and really educate yourself to know how to identify these opportunities. So make sure you stay tuned and follow these videos of how we show you how we locate these deals, find these deals, break them down, and we can do deals together. Hey, make sure you subscribe because we're coming in hot every week with real deals, real creative deals, going through the numbers and showing you how you can do the same thing, how you can negotiate these deals to make big paychecks for you and your family.